I think President Obama was correct when he stated in his State of the Union address that America will meet the challenges of international competition. We'll do that by out-educating, out-innovating, and out-building our competitors. Well, that requires a budget that speaks to those priorities, a budget that speaks to educating our workforce, to provide the type of climate where America can continue to lead the world in research and innovation, and that we pay attention to our infrastructure, whether it's transportation, whether it's water infrastructure, whether it's energy infrastructure, so that we have the capacity to be able to compete internationally, that we can create the jobs that will be critically important for America. We know we need more jobs. We need good-paying jobs. And that's what President Obama's vision is about. And our budget needs to underscore that vision. Yes, we need to do it in a fiscally responsible way, but we need to do it in a way that allows America's future to be secure. And that is why, Mr. President, I so much opposed the budget that was sent over to us from the House of Representatives, the 2011 budget, the H.R. 1, before the ability to reach a compromise. I did that because when you look at what H.R. 1 would have done, particularly in light of what the budget agreement we've now reached on the 2011 budget, you can't help but notice a huge difference between our vision for America. When you look at it, providing for a competitive workforce, and I know we all agree, we have to have a workforce that can compete. Look at the stark differences between the budget agreement and the House-passed budget. You need job training and Job Corps programs. Most of the funding has been maintained in this budget agreement for our job training and Job Corps programs, whereas if you look at the House-passed budget, they eliminated all the funds for job training and a 40% reduction in the Job Corps program. That was restored under the budget agreement that allows America to have the competitive workforce it needs to meet its future challenges. You need to have education beyond high school if you're going to be competitive today. Well, the House-passed budget would have reduced Pell Grants by 15%. Now, Mr. President, I can assure you tuition isn't going down by 15% this year. Tuition at our colleges and universities are going up, and up. And I'm proud that we were able, in the budget agreement, to maintain the maximum Pell Grants at $5,550. We maintained the funding for Race to the Top funds because we want excellence in K through 12. The House-passed budget would have zeroed out the Race to the Top funds. Head Start. To me, if you want to talk to a budget that really speaks to America's values, is to get young children the chance to succeed in school. Head Start has never been a partisan program. It's been supported by Democrats and Republicans because you know why? There's proven results in Head Start. Children that participate in Head Start will do better. We have those results. It's in our economic interest. The Republican-passed budget in the House would have knocked 218,000 children off of the Head Start program. It would have reduced 55,000 teachers and aides from Head Start programs around our nation. Mr. President, I am pleased to see that the agreement that we will be voting on shortly restores all of the funds for the Head Start program, so that our children can get the Head Start they need to succeed in K through 12. Our budget speaks to our health and our environment. The Health Resources Services Administration was severely cut in the Republican-passed budget, and it would have affected care in each one of our communities. Our negotiators restored $900 million to that budget. What does that mean? Well, it means that for the 11,000 community health centers that are located in all of our states, that they will be able to continue the services that they're currently providing. The Affordable Care Act will be able to implement it. We're not going to be stopped, as was the efforts made in the Republican-passed budget. And as far as the environmental protection riders that we've talked about, these are the policy riders. I know that this is confusing to the people that are listening to this debate to understand that the House-passed budget by the Republicans had a lot of policy issues that had absolutely nothing to do with the budget. They blocked the Environmental Protection Agency from protecting the environment. Let me say that again. They blocked the Environmental Protection Agency from protecting the environment. They couldn't enforce the Clean Air Act, the Clean Water Act. For the people of Maryland in this region, blocking the enforcement of the Chesapeake Bay program that enjoys broad support from the people not only of our region but the nation. Well, I'm pleased to say that the budget that we'll be voting on later this week eliminates those restrictions. All of them are out. And thank goodness they are, because they should never have been in the budget document to start off with. Now, I'm going to make it clear, Mr. President, I'm disappointed by many of the provisions that are included in this compromise. It's a true compromise. It's not what the Democrats would have written, I can assure you of that. And it's certainly not what the Republicans would have written. It's a true compromise, and that's what we need to go through. I understand, but I feel compelled to at least let the people of Maryland know some of the consequences of the need to reach a compromise. For example, the General Services Administration will have about $1 billion less to deal with government construction. And what would that mean? Well, at White Oak, Maryland, in White Oak, we have the FDA's expansion. Well, that's going to be put on hold, which is not only going to affect my community, it's going to affect our country, because we are talking about public health and food safety. The cuts for the Community Development Block Grant are much more than I would like to see. These are programs that are important for our urban centers. At these times when their budgets are being hit the hardest, I think it's very unfortunate that we tell them we're just going to add to their challenges. We should be helping them during these times. We shouldn't be taking resources away from them. The Federal Transit Administration has a major cut in this budget. I find that regrettable, particularly as it relates to their New Start budget. I come from a state that has major new transit projects that we want to get moving. Purple Line to connect our suburban areas around Washington, the Red Line in Baltimore, the Carter Cities Transitway to connect the I-270 corridor for high-tech jobs. All those depend upon us continuing to move forward with sensible transit projects that, quite frankly, I think are in jeopardy as a result of the compromises that were needed to be made. Teach for America is eliminated. The federal participation in that is eliminated. On Monday, I had a chance to teach from Teach for America. I was in a high school in Baltimore with some very dedicated young people that are willing to give up their lives so that America can compete in the future. We certainly should have continued the federal partnership and Teach for America. And I talked about the Environmental Protection Agency, and I didn't point out that the Republican budget in the House cut that agency by 30%. 30%. Well, we restored half of those funds, but the cut's still going to be pretty severe. So I just wanted my colleagues to know that whereas I am very pleased that of many decisions that were made in this compromise for the 2011 budget that will allow us to be able to move forward as a nation for America's vision of being able to out-educate, out-innovate, and out-build our competitors,